Bonjour, hello, it's Janice in France. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be talking about a subject that many of you have written in or even mentioned it on Facebook, how I could live over here all alone without knowing anyone. Well, I knew I would meet some people, but it's never been an issue for me to live alone. And I guess I have to tell you a little bit about my personality. I think I am a social introvert. Now, it's a little different than just being a complete introvert. It isn't that I am not socially adaptable or I'm socially inept. I love to go to parties. I love to go to dinner parties and I love to be around people, but I can only do that for a short period of time. I have two gentlemen friends that always were very kind to invite me to dinner back in the States. And one of them would even say, Janice, I don't even think about the menu until about 3 hours ahead of time because you never know about you. And the other gentleman friend, he always would say, you know what, it's okay, no problem. That's just how you are. But I need to explain a little bit more about how I am because I'm sure I'm not the only one out there like this. So this is me. I don't mind being alone. I have never been sad or lonely since I've been here. Now I do get bored sometimes. Maybe I can't get outside because of the weather and I can't wait till the weather gets better and I can start doing my videos somewhere else other than in my house. So that I'm looking forward to. But I'm never alone. I'm always busy. I'm either Facebooking or I'm reading or I'm watching movies or I'm doing videos or I'm doing a script for a video. I stay very busy. And then I have my Buster and we take our daily walks and then we take our little walks 3 or 4 times a day. So I stay busy all the time and I never feel alone. So since I've told you about me being an introvert, I'll tell you a little bit more about how I recharge, how I am able to be social, how it doesn't bother me to be both. Even though I am an introvert and I don't mind being alone, but I've also said that I like to be with other people, there is a way that I can do both. In order for me to be around people, I have discovered that I love the big dinner parties. I love Christmas parties. I love to be out socially at Christmas. I love to go to all the Christmas markets, and I love to go to the market 3 times a week here in town. But in order for me to continue that, I have to re-energize, and that means I have to have some downtime with just me. It doesn't mean I have to be doing meditating or I have to be doing yoga or anything like that. It's just downtime with me. And I find when I go to parties and gatherings that I hear the chatter probably more than most people. And I can do this, but only sparingly. And then I want to go home. You know, I probably have canceled many dates in my life, and it isn't anything against the person. What it has to do is me. If I have been out and about all day long, I just need to recharge before I can go out and about anymore. When I was a teacher, you know, I taught all day long. And when you're a teacher, you're a pretty good darn entertainer also, because you have to teach subjects. You kind of have to convince these kids that maybe they do want to learn about World War II, and maybe they do want to learn about the recession, and maybe they want to learn about the Depression. And you've got to come up with some pretty good ideas on how to convince them and make it fun for them that they will want to learn. So I don't mind doing that. But when you do that all day long and you come home, you need to recharge. And I always found myself sometime on Sunday evening before I'd go back to teaching, I'd find myself in this blah, even this sunken feeling. And what it was is I had not had time, or I had not taken the time all weekend to recharge. Maybe I'd been busy with my daughter. Maybe we had had plans to go away for the weekend and then we came back at the last minute. Those times and I don't have time to recharge, it doesn't mean I'm unhappy. It just means my body is not ready to go the next day because my mind has not had time to recharge itself. And that's what I think about an introvert. We just have to recharge. Now, there's another way that I like to recharge, and it's nature. And one of the reasons why I moved to Fontainebleau is because of the chateau, the forest, and all the walking paths. I am looking so forward to doing that because when I left Georgia, I lived on a 100-acre farm. I lived among nature all around me, and I very much enjoyed it. But I'm going to be able to do the same thing here, and that's one of the reasons when I chose Fontainebleau that I wanted the chateau and all the many walking trails and things that they have to do here. And me and Buster can just take our picnic and we can go walk by the river and we can just sit and recharge. I might even do a video one day, but I will do it after I've recharged. And I love to get back to nature. It doesn't mean that I have to go on a 10-mile hike. It doesn't mean that I have to do climbing that day. What it does mean is I have to be in touch with some kind of nature. Maybe just a walk and to see the trees and the animals and just be with my animal. That's nature. So it doesn't mean that I have to do a 25-mile hike to get back to nature, because I wouldn't get back to nature. I'd probably get back to the emergency room. But anyway, you know what I mean. I like to just recharge, and nature is one of those ways that I can recharge, and I enjoy it so very much. Now that I've moved to France, and I am not doing 5,000 errands a day to get ready to move, I've been reading more. Absolutely, I've been reading. I haven't read in so many years, except at school and except with my kids at school. But I've enjoyed reading so much. I've enjoyed escaping, having that cup of coffee with me and just escaping into the atmosphere of whatever book I'm reading. Now, you know, I love mysteries. Oh, so very much. So I love reading a good mystery book. I'm not so much for things that are going to scare me so bad that I'm not going to sleep that night. But I do love mystery books and I love history. And there is a library here, and as soon as I can find it and I can get me a library card, they do have books in English, so I can't wait. And I do watch a lot of documentaries. I love Napoleon biography, and I like listening to all of that, and even Marie Antoinette. She was such a fascinating person, a very selfish person, but a very fascinating person. So I have had time to do that. I have not been to the museum in Paris yet. But let me tell you, I'm going next week because, as I've mentioned to you before, the first Monday of the month, it's free. So next week, I'm going to go to the Museum d'Orsay, and I'm going to just enjoy every minute that I have. And I like going by myself because I don't have to answer any questions, and I don't have to hear somebody say, "But Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. Mom, aren't you hungry?" Or anyone else say, "Hey, I've kind of had enough of this. I'm ready to leave." I'll just be by myself and I can look, and I'm going to take one of those little things this time and listen and really have time to listen to everything they have to say about the artist. And I'm so excited. Now, you may be saying, "Janice, if you're an introvert, why are you so talkative?" Well, I didn't say I wasn't talkative, and I didn't say I wasn't a chatty Cathy. What I said was I was an introvert, that I had to have time to recharge. I love speaking. If I could speak to 5,000 people, that wouldn't bother me in the least. I would enjoy doing it. I would love to speak to groups about moving to France and what it's like to be changing at my age and what it's like to do something so different at my age. I would love to do that. Of course, you know, the pandemic kind of stopped all that. But if you have any idea of any groups that I could meet with virtually, I would love to do that. That has nothing to do with being an introvert. An introvert is someone that loves all of that, but they just don't like too much of it. We have to kind of narrow it down. Also, talking about being talkative, when I'm in Paris or any other place, even here in Fontainebleau, I don't know how to get somewhere, I will ask questions. I will ask for directions. I don't care who it is. In fact, my late husband used to say, Janice, you could talk the bark off a tree. And that's probably one item that I probably agree with him on. I think I can. I love talking to people. I love people. So I'm a socially extrovert, introvert maybe, that's it. And that's one reason why I don't mind being alone here in France. There's something else I want to talk to you about too. You know, when you have a partner, you can have those candlelight dinners and you can have the music playing and you can do things like that. But just because you don't have a partner doesn't mean that you can't do that. I've had candlelit dinners right here in my house since I've been here in France. I turned on the music on my phone. I've listened to classical music while I'm reading a book and while I'm eating my dinner. I think people, after they become either a widow like myself or maybe a divorcee or whatever, and they live alone, they just think maybe they don't deserve to have anything like that. But you do. You can have candlelit dinners. You can sit and listen to a symphony. You can sit and sing along with a symphony. You can do anything you want to. You don't have to always be out in public to enjoy yourself. Or let me rephrase that. I don't always have to be out in public to enjoy myself. You know, before I moved to France, I did something every day. I had a Starbucks coffee every day. Sometimes I would have two, but mostly I would have that one in the morning. I'd either be on my way to work or on my way to run errands or going somewhere, not just to go back home. Now I have my coffee in my little ceramic cup and I absolutely enjoy every drop of my coffee. I don't think I even enjoyed the coffee that I had at Starbucks. I knew it was good and I knew I liked it, but I don't know that I really enjoyed it like I have my coffee here. As an introvert, I don't mind taking French lessons, but guess what? I do it virtually. Of course. But I don't mind doing that. I practice my French daily. I'm not doing so great at it right now, but I'll get better. But I don't mind having classes. Even if I had classes together, it would be okay, but I prefer to have a class one-on-one. And last but not least, living alone. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. I don't have to say why at 4:30 in the afternoon I'm going to walk down to Paul's and get me a hot chocolate because dinner's going to be ready in an hour and a half. I don't have to worry about having dinner ready at a certain time. Now, ladies and gents, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying having a partner is not a good thing. Having a partner is great. And having a partner that understands you is even better. But one of the things that I enjoy about being alone is not having to have a partner to explain everything that I do. Because I can do some real quirky things. I mean, maybe at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Buster and I, we just get up and we take a walk. It may be almost dark, but that's okay. We know where we're going. But I don't have to worry about somebody saying, well, Janice, it's almost dark. I'm going to worry about you. No, don't worry about me. I'm fine. That's just one of those things that I don't mind living alone. Now, some of you do mind living alone, and I can appreciate that. As much as some of you are saying right now, that's me, Janice. You're exactly talking about me. That's me. I can be out with a crowd. I love it. I love to go to my family's house, but I can only take a little bit of time, and I need to go back to my place and kind of re-energize. Doesn't mean we're bad people. It just means we're weird people, probably. But that's how I can get by living in a foreign country by myself. Now, one last thing I want to tell you. I have met a wonderful young lady on my Facebook page, Janice in France. She's from California, but fortunately for me, she lives right here in France. She lives in a little suburb outside of Paris, and she's getting ready to buy a home. Well, they've already bought the home, but she's getting ready to move the end of March and 1st of April. And she's even invited me to her home, which I think is great. And not only that, she's fabulous when it comes to helping me with French. When Jennifer was here and we had to put our phones, a new SIM card in our phones, Lisa reached out to us, and we had one phone with a French person talking and one phone with Lisa talking, and she helped Jennifer right through it. So no, I didn't come to France knowing anyone, but now I do. I have Lisa, and she helps me every day. So just because you go to a place with no friends doesn't mean that you won't make them. I remember when I did my trip in 2018 to come to France, and I did a solo trip, I wanted to go all over different places in France to see where I wanted to retire. I went to Lourdes. And if you are my age, you probably remember that black and white movie, Saint Bernadette. Well, I had always wanted to go there ever since I'd been a child. It just infatuated me, that movie. And I went to Lourdes, and it was the most eye-opening experience I've ever had. And I can't wait to take you with me because I'm going to go soon. It is a place where Saint Bernadette, many years ago, saw a vision, and it started the entire town to be building a church and to be offering pilgrimages, and it just started their whole town to boom. Now I have a couple of friends that have gone, and I've heard them say, well, it just wasn't anything but a tourist trap. Yes, they do have souvenir shops, and yes, I did buy some things from the souvenir shop. I even sent them back to some friends. But to me, I saw more than souvenir shops. I saw the humbleness of knowing that I'm healthy, and some of these people weren't healthy because a lot of people go there for the water. They seem to think that it has a healing in it, and I'm not saying it does or it doesn't, but that's why a lot of people go there that are ill. And in the Mass at night, every night, the people come in wheelchairs with nurses escorting them. In fact, when I was there was someone brought at the very front in a bed because they weren't able to be in a wheelchair. And they all give thanks, and they all have these prayers for healing. I'm telling you, standing there, feeling healthy and knowing that my feet would walk me anywhere I wanted to be walking that day. And it just was a very humbling experience and very thankful. So being alone, I enjoyed that so much because I could take it all in, and I didn't have to talk to anyone about how I felt. I could just enjoy the moment. I could enjoy being there. Lately, I've been enjoying doing my vlogs, and I'm beginning to do a journal that I'm going to be posting on my website if you ever want to know what's going on that day with me, because not everything do I put on Facebook. And I cannot wait for it to be warmer because they have an equestrian center here. I haven't been on a horse in about 3 years. So I want to get on a horse and ride again. I want to connect with that animal. When I grew up, I always had a horse, and I've always been just in love with horses. I like the smell. I like to touch them. I like to ride them. I just love horses. And I'm not sure how that getting on top of that horse is going to be with my bum little meniscus knee, but I'm hoping somebody will have a little patience with me because I can't wait to try it again, to get up on top of that horse. I've got to have something to aspire to, something to say, hey, I did it one more time. I always find something to laugh about during the day. If it's not something to laugh about, sometimes you will go nuts. I'll laugh about something the animals did or something that I just did that was nutso, and I'm glad no one saw that. But there's always something going on that I'm happy about. The last thing I would like to say is I hope I've inspired you to do something different today, or maybe I've inspired you to look at yourself differently. It's okay to be an introvert. It's okay to be an extrovert. It's okay to be a little bit of both, because we're all unique and we're all different. And our differences is what brings us all together. And our differences is what makes us so special. Thank you so much once again. Leave your comments below. If you have any questions, I'll answer them. And if you have anything that you didn't understand about this video, just ask me. I'll write you back. Thanks again. Au revoir.